Watching the instruction video will give you a good idea on how the boat is to be built. But the most important thing is to follow the instructions. Always have your instructions with you when you're building. After you've cut all 4 pieces to exactly 12 feet, break it into 2 bundles of 2. And now we'll start measuring where your Kano-Yak parts are going to go that are going to dictate the shape of your frame. Be sure you have the sheet that has the measurements for the one-person Kano-Yak measurements. And what you'll do then is, first of all, on one end, write A front top, B front top. On the other bundle, write C front bottom, D front bottom. Then on the other end, you're going to have A rear top, B rear top, C rear bottom, D rear bottom. At this point then, you're going to be taking these measurements, starting at the right hand side, and measure down the measurement, and then put the part number that is associated with that. And that will tell you where to put the part on this boat. Starting with A and B front top bundle, from the right to the left, the first measurement is at 28.5 inches, and it's number 7F. When you mark with your pencil the measurement, put it all the way around. This way you'll have that mark all the way around. And of course you know then that it's number 7F is the part number that will be put in on the frame there. After you've measured and marked your 28.5 and put your part number there, go to the next number, 44.25, and do the same thing. Put number 6 and the mark all the way around, and do that until you get down to the bottom, 115.25, and then you'll go over to the C and D front bottom, and you'll start measuring the front there, 28.5 on down. I usually like to mark them off as I've done them. This way I don't end up doing the same one twice. Once you've measured and marked your 2 bundles of 2 each, this is basically what it's going to look like. You'll have your measurements, you have the part number that is going to be attached to that spot. This will dictate the shape of the frame and the shape of the boat. What we're going to do now is start to assemble the frame. The next piece we're going to put on is the front aluminum piece. This could go on either way. What it does is you have your C front bottom and your A front top. And this goes like this. I usually take one of these and put it here, and they go like here. So what we'll do is we're going to turn it over. We'll take this out, we'll turn this over, and it's going to go like this. So we put this in here, making sure that the A front top is showing. Drill 2 holes. Then when you're done with that, you'll take the other one and do the same thing. At this point you have the front hooked to A front top, and C front bottom. So what we're going to do now is add the other part here. Now we're going to put B front top, which goes here, D front bottom, which goes here. And we're going to attach this the same as we did this one. Slide this in. You take it so that this is facing out and comes up right against here and here, and parallel here with just a little bit of the wood sticking up. But now that you have your A front top, we're going to do the same thing to your D front bottom. Now that you've put these together and you're finished with the front of this frame, you have A front top on one side, B front top on the other side, and on this side you have C front bottom on this side, D front bottom on that side. Now these we're going to bring together. So we'll go outside now and we'll pull these together. What you're going to do now is you're going to take 12 foot that way and the 12 foot this way, and you're going to bring it all together to this front part. This here's flat, the wood is underneath, and it comes up this way. I usually put my foot here, and someone will pick this end up for you. Okay, thank you. And then they'll pick the other side up. And at that point then, we have them all hooked together. Now that you've folded the two 12-foot pieces towards each other, you have basically what the front of the boat is going to look like. And you should have your front top, they should be together facing up. If you were to turn the frame over, you would have your front bottom. And then you notice you have these in the right place. At this point now, we're going to put the back end together. What we're going to do now is start to assemble the frame. What you do is you have the rear, making sure that this part is up, and you're going to have a rear top is going to fit right like this. And what helps is to have a board like this up against it, and it brings it right to it. So when it's lying down like this, you'll want the board here, this up against it, and take the line up so that you've got just a little bit of the wood just above the frame here. You take your drill bit and drill all 6 holes, but don't screw the parts on yet. So now we'll do the same thing on the other side, where we'll be putting your D rear bottom. After bending both ends to the middle, you can see now where there's A and B front top is on top. Underneath is your C and D front bottom. What happens now is we're going to go to the back of the boat. And this piece here now, we're going to bring it around and put it back onto the holes that were already drilled here. Now that the front is completely put together, we're going to take the back here, and we're going to take this, and this is going to be bent like this. This part here is going to be bent like this. And we're going to take and screw these two pieces onto here, which will finish our frame. Notice now we have B rear top, A rear top, and on the other side we have D rear bottom and C rear bottom. So all the holes are already drilled for this, but there's not enough room for a drill to get in, so you'll have to put it in by hand, and this is why we did this. So you'll take it and you'll find where the 3 holes are, and after you put 3 on one side, then you'll do the same thing on the other side. At this point you have your front done, and you can see the A front top and B front top. As you go down, you see the markings that we made earlier, and we're going to get back to the back where we just finished putting in the bolts, the screws that we needed that would put the back end all back together again. What we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to put in the first piece that is going to go in and make it start looking like a boat. And that's what we're going to do, is we're going to put in the first piece, which is this rib, and it's A rib number 72. So what you'll do is you'll put your feet inside, and what you'll do is you'll just spread your feet apart, and then you're going to take the wood part, goes towards the front. So you take this and you work it, and the little mark, the little pencil mark that you see there actually goes in the middle of your 3/4 inch pipe. At this point, it's starting to look like a boat. Now we'll just screw it together. Coming with the kit is your wood screws, number 6 1/4 inch. These come with the kit, and you'll be putting 2 of these in each place. Always be sure that you countersink these. You don't have to countersink them a lot, but the screw head has to be flush with the top. To make things easier for you, they sell a bit number 6 and an automatic countersinker. So what you do is, by using this, you not only drill the hole, which helps you not to split wood, but also countersinks it so that you can get below the level here. On the 2-man kit, you'll have 2 of these. One is marked 1F, one is marked 2R, and they would be in different places. But they go in the same way. You'll still step in, spread your legs apart, and just work it in to its numbered place, which would be 1F or 2R. Okay, at this point, we've gotten this far. We're going to start going and using the parts that come into the kit. Number 1F, there's 2 of them, and 1F mark is here. All the other parts, there'll be 11 parts, and they will be put in onto the frame in numerical order. 1F goes here, and you'll always center the piece on the mark. So this will deal with either a clamp to hold it in place or an individual to hold it, And this piece here will have 2 screws here and 2 screws on the bottom. When you're screwing these in, always be careful not to strip it or pull it in too tight, or this wood will split. Whenever you're putting any of your pieces on, you should always have the piece flush with the outside of the frame. This makes it a lot easier because then you have that much less sanding, and your skin should be fitting close to the frame. Okay, now we're going to turn it over and put screws on the other side. Once you've finished putting in 1/2 on the bottom, be sure to turn your frame over so that the top is facing up. And now we'll go to part number 2R. There's 2 of those. 2R, you'll notice, has a line on it. The numbers and lines always face outside. So your 2R mark, and you put your that line on your measurement here. The reason this line is here is because when you apply the skin, it's just a little under 8 feet from here to the front. So you'll be putting an 8-foot piece of that is going to be about 14 inches wide to this line. And then from this line back, you'll be putting another piece. So this is where your meet. I'm going to screw this in now.
The next part that goes in is the one labeled number 3. That goes across the bottom, so make sure you flip your boat upside down, and on these smaller pieces you'll only use 1 screw to hold them in place on each end.
Put your second screw in on your number 3 part is where your helping hand comes in handy. What you'll do is you just want to make sure that you're centered here and you're centered on your 3/4 inch piece. Have it as flush as you can. And that should work just fine. Part number 4, which is on the bottom of the boat, you'll notice has a line like part number 2R did. The reason for that line is from here back is roughly 8 feet. And that's where the skin on the bottom will meet the skin on the front. Part number 6F is 2 pieces, and it comes in the kit put together. When you apply it in here, you always want to make sure that you center the 3/4 inch piece on both sides. At this point, all parts will be screwed on numerically. You also want to be sure that all pieces are flush with the outside of the frame, and that all of your wood screws are countersunk. You want to be sure that when this skin goes on, it's flush to the frame. So anything that is uneven should be sanded down. That's why it's important when you're building it to make sure that all of the parts that you apply are flush with the outside of the frame. Once you get to this part, you want to be sure that the front end and the back end are flush. I do it by taking a sander and sanding this until it's flat, so that you could end up putting a piece of skin. 2 pieces of 3/4 by 3/4 4-foot pieces. These will be applied when you get this far, to this point in the frame. These will be applied here. The way you'll apply in this, you'll put it in the center of 6F, and you put it in right at the point of the boat, and you'll draw a line underneath. That line there is where you cut it. Now there's a hole on both the top and the bottom. So you'll put a wood screw in here and a wood screw in through here. And that there gives the top support. The same thing will be done in the rear on number 8R. At this point, All your frame is completely finished. All of the parts that came with the kit are installed and has dictated the shape of the frame.